Hey everyone, Todd here, internalarchitect.com. In this video, I'm going to talk about finding your source of stress. Now, before I begin, go ahead and hit subscribe and hit the notification button to get notifications on when I put videos out. Now, I'm going to talk about 8 different signs that work is causing too much stress. Now, this kind of came up because I have had kind of a long last 2 weeks or so of work, and it was really just it's been kind of just nagging at me, and that knife has just been twisting, and it's unfortunately I've been feeling kind of stressed and not feeling like I'm accomplishing or moving forward in certain directions in my life right now. So it's okay, because these things happen. It's part of the waves of life and part of everything else that goes along with work and with family and your passions, and you have to kind of bring it all back down to really remember what it is that you're doing all this work for. I'm not a good person when it comes to just making someone money, making someone else rich. And I've been an entrepreneur in my life in a lot of different ways, and I've been fortunate, I've been successful, and I've failed in different attempts, but nonetheless, it's always kind of been on my terms. But since cancer, I've had to really take a look in a dedicated position of just having to work for someone else and not have a lot of the overhead that comes along with really the different types of work in the skill sets that I have. My skill sets sit in the construction background and specifically in the excavation side of things. And for any of you that know anything about contracting and excavation work, it's very expensive. The equipment is very expensive. Insurance, cover employees and overhead for a place to rent for a shop and garage. There's a lot of different pieces and parts to it all. And I made a conscious choice that I didn't want to own equipment anymore. And because of that, I have to work, and I have to work for a company that will kind of work within my own skill sets. And I actually work for a good company. They're growing, and they're going through a lot of growing pains. And because I've known the people that own this company for my whole life, they go back into my father's side history. So there's some deep roots going on here with myself. Now, with that said, I'm learning as this company grows that there are things that are just out of my control. It's not my company and it's not my business. So really, I don't have a lot of opinions that really matter, although the owners do ask my opinion occasionally about certain things. But honestly, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because they're going to go in the direction they feel is right, and it's not my business. So with that said, because I care, I leave myself out there a lot more than I probably should. And as the company grows, learning to deal with stress in harder ways. I get frustrated really easy when it comes to the lack of attention from other people and from certain parts of the business that go on. And as an entrepreneur, that's really a difficult side. And having been a business owner, it's frustrating to see just the lack of attention to certain things that continue to get missed. Throw on top of it, they are going through an acquisition of another wastewater company, and they're remodeling their office. So just to deal with the growth, but with all this change and with all this construction, all the management staff might as well be in Michigan or New York City or Guatemala or wherever in India, because you don't see them, so you can't get answers immediately. There's just no face-to-face interaction. So that's a lot of the problem. And that's why this topic really came up, because this last 2 weeks has really brought up a lot of stress with everything going on in there. And it unfortunately has rolled over into some personal life, and I hate it when that does that. And last Friday, I ended up kind of taking a little bit of my frustration out on one of the new management guys that unfortunately he didn't take it well. And I did apologize to him as far as just letting him know that I have nothing against him. I think he's a great guy. There's just circumstances that are out of my control, and because I care, I can't do anything about it. And and that's how I left it at. And so whatever, I can't be angry with the situation or with him because it's not his fault. You know what I mean? So that right there is the main reason. So the 8 things I want to talk about, and I'm just going to go through my list here. If you are feeling anxiety when you wake up in the morning, like you're starting to just not feeling right, you just like you're anxious, you're just like it's not working, you're anxious, you don't really want to go to work in the morning. This is when you wake up. That really kind of leads into number 2. Are you having feelings of sadness and despair knowing that you have to go to work? And lately I've been just really frustrated with having to come to a place that is just so disorganized right now, and that's just how it is. And it's always been a little bit unorganized, but it's been tolerable. It's been this like weird organized chaos that's been going on, and because it's just so hectic right now, there's so much work, which is a good thing, but it's really frustrating because expectations are all high to keep the machine working. And I don't know, this is the point where burnout really starts to occur, and that's that last thing that I really need right now, because I don't want it to roll over into doing what I'm doing, helping you guys either, and I don't want it to come across that way either. So that's something that is constantly in my mind and something that I'm running through. So number 3, are you feeling short with your coworkers? And that's what really prompted understanding the source of my stress right now. With having been short with my coworker and kind of just being angry and frustrated because of situations that are out of my control, now there's this gray cloud that is above us right now. And today I had a lot of window time in work and stuff like that. I had to drive all over 2 different counties to do my work. And so I had a lot of time to think and just kind of mull over kind of the situation. And I came to the conclusion that I just can't let it affect me anymore. I can't be bummed because his feelings got hurt because of things that I said. At the same time, I need to be much more cautious of how my approach is with him and how I approach really everyone in the business, because it's created this, for me, this internal animosity, this internal just frustration of like, why did I do that? I know I shouldn't do this. I know I should just let it be and not take it out on people that don't deserve it. And I unfortunately let that happen. And that's where I'm really kind of angry with myself at the moment. And today I was able to really take that and boil it down into, I just have to let it go, and I have to kind of suck it up that I made a mistake, and I'm not going to allow myself to let that happen again. And so number 4 is, are you feeling like you spend most of your day talking to yourself about negative topics? Where I live, it's very much a tourist town, so there's just all sorts of negative stuff happening all around, whether it's driving, whether it's pedestrians, whether it's bikers, whether it's red lights, all of the above, and I just catch myself, and I was doing this today, and I kept catching myself being negative of just every little thing. I had a guy that I drive big trucks, so I can, commercial vehicles, so I can't see everything going on around me. And there's an area where I was coming into Frisco that is all 1 lane, but it turns into 2 lanes. And, this guy was riding my ass so close I couldn't see him. And as we got into town, I started to merge over and almost ran this guy off the road because I couldn't see him. He was just in every single bad blind spot. I did everything I could. And then he has the nerve to flip me off afterward like it's my fault. And he ended up passing me in a speed up lane. It's just the little things like this that drive me nuts. And I catch myself, it leads into this negative mindset that just continues to fester. And I was catching myself. I actually got out of the truck when I got to Copper Mountain and just in a place where it was quiet for a moment and just kind of was like, okay, let's just take a couple deep breaths and kind of take a moment. And I was able to kind of calm myself and my nerves down and start to let it all go. And then I just spent the rest of the day in window time just thinking about just why I let myself do this. So I did a lot of self-reflection today, and it was really positive, and it made me feel a lot better. And I feel a lot better now because at least I can admit that I've made mistakes and that it's going to continue to happen. So I can't allow these negative feelings to keep busting in and ruining my mindset. Let me tell you, it takes a lot of work to have these realizations and to continue putting some of the tools in place to help make it better every day. So let's see, that brings me to number 5. Are you bringing these negative feelings and thoughts and conversations home. And I did okay for a little bit. I was just really quiet with my family, and they asked, and I was just like, look, I've had some really difficult, stressful days, and I don't want to bring it home, and I don't want to talk about it because I don't want it to spill over here. And so having a little conversation with the family about what I'm feeling and why I don't want to bring it up was really critical in how I approach the rest of this whole entire just stressful situation, the stressful last 2 weeks that I've been in. So far, I'm very, very happy with it. That kind of also brings me into the sixth thing is it's really easy to, if you're bringing it home, to be short with your family too. I think I kind of found that little balance of not being too short with my family, but just letting them know that like I have some things that I'm just dealing with mentally. I don't want to bring them up here because I don't want to lose it on you guys either, you know. And I am such a positive person all around that for me to kind of have this turn in mindset right now has been really, it's frustrating and it's difficult to admit, but I'm human, you know, and that's why I think I can talk to you guys about it and really get it out and make it feel like you guys can relate to it too. And number 7 is, do you feel like you're getting poor sleep due to the thoughts and scenarios running through your mind? Because things have been so stressful and because I've just been, I guess, a grumpy middle-aged guy, I've allowed that mindset to really go negative, and that negative self-talk really, you start playing different scenarios in your head, and I catch myself doing that. And when I do, I have to just straight up tell myself, stop it. Stop doing that. You're not doing anyone any good by talking negatively to yourself like this. Your family, your coworkers, your bosses, anyone, you know, your friends, your family, it doesn't matter, you know. So it's good to be aware of this, because this does roll over into your sleep, and if you don't sleep well, you kind of continue this vicious circle that continues to happen. And it's important to be aware of when you are starting to do the self-negative talk and running through the negative scenarios in your mind, because it doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do anyone any good. And I'm absolutely guilty of it. Heck, I've spent too much time, and it really kind of affected my progress here with Internal Architect too, and I don't like that, but I did have some really good things happen also through it. So, and then number 8, because of your poor sleep, you're waking up tired, you know, and grouchy, and or in other words, on the wrong side of the bed. And you know, that's where that vicious circle kind of begins and continues again. You know, you wake up tired and angry and grouchy, which means that you are feeling anxiety when you wake up, which kind of turns into the sadness and despair knowing you have to go to work, which kind of means that you're short with your coworkers, which kind of turns into your negative thoughts and talking to yourself about those negative feelings throughout the day. And then you end up bringing it home, and then you're short with your family, and then you go to sleep angry and frustrated it's just sick. It continues over and over and over again. And to break that cycle, you need to it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of practice, and the tools that you learn from going to counseling and from being open with yourself and letting yourself be open to just stopping that negative self-talk is really where it all begins, and where you're able to really come from a place of gratitude at the end of the day. So I just kind of want to refresh on a couple things. You know, I've been letting my job get to me lately, and that's not cool. So what am I going to do about it? I'm going to kind of set some personal boundaries with my work and with the people in my work, because I think I don't want to ruin the relationships that I have because I am frustrated and angry all the time. So really working hard on trying to break this circle. And so far I'm doing a pretty good job, but it's still not easy, right? By breaking this cycle, I'm working on my communication with the owners and with my coworkers. That really helps change the pace. It changes your mindset, and it changes how you approach the things that are going on within your situation too. I'm also working on creating a positive whatever attitude. So I'm like, you want me to do this? Okay, no worries. Done. Consider it done. It doesn't matter what it is that they can throw at me. I can do it, and I can get it done, and I can get it done in a good amount of time. So being aware of that positive attitude and that positive mindset will really come across through the rest of your workers over time. And that's really I've made that conscious choice today to really make that happen, and to be really honest with everyone that I work with, and that's been working really well. At the end of the day, the main reason is I want to continue forging a path towards my purpose and my meaning. And by doing these videos, by taking the time to create and be creative, it's huge. And that's where I will feel a huge sense of relief after this video, because it just feels so good to have been creative and to use this as an outlet, get the feelings organized, and to get the feelings in a place to where you'll be able to hopefully relate to them. So, take the time, realize what you're feeling, why you're feeling it, and then take the time to, if you're feeling down and depressed and feeling sadness and despair, take a moment to really just breathe and to really feel the reasons come to you of why the source of stress is really becoming a heavy weight on your shoulders. So awesome. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate your time and energy into this. And please leave a comment below and let me know what you think. And just want to say thank you again, and I will see you on the next video.